So I'm just writing some stuff down about a loss I recently took. I'm gonna go over everything really soon. So I'm just gonna continue what I was writing. So just add on this new mindset of thinking in terms of traders and how they react as well as panic. So not including panic and where most of them will react, right? In terms of traders, how they react and at which points they will do so, um, as well as thinking of candles in terms of buyers and sellers is really useful, right? I don't, yeah, I don't really like seeing the market in terms of candles like this. I really like looking at it as buyers and sellers though. Yeah, so I don't think there's really much to add here except clearly the trend was going against my open position of an ETC, no, XTZ long, which of course relies on BTC going up as well. And BTC was clearly going down, yet I did not close my XTZ short until it turned into a bad loss. And then just to add on, or one more thing, I keep getting impatient uh, and waiting. I keep getting impatient and start taking trades instead of waiting for an ideal opportunity to show up. And then this happened yesterday. This happened yesterday with an ETH long. The opportunity, right? Opportunity passed by me or slash I missed it. And then I take a trade uh, after the move is done, thinking I know where the market is going, when in reality it can't go anywhere. And then finally, in this case, it it was logging the top after missing the opportunity of buying at or before the breakout. So let me just review what I have here. Yeah, and I want to talk about this trade because I do want to work on not fearing your loss, right? Not being fear, no longer fearing your losses, and not only that, learning not to fear your losses and learning from your mistakes, right? This is obviously several mistakes we're having here. So most of it psychologically, and I feel like like just reading over this and looking back why will be super beneficial. So let's start with XTZ and why we took this trade. So reasons I took this trade, right? Here's the missed opportunity I was talking about. I saw this, right, and I'm like, this is going to break out upwards. Right before I just wanted to long though, like literally 1 second, maybe 2 seconds, I hesitated, and then skyrocketed upward. I missed out on all these gains, right? Actually, let's not talk about that, right? Missed opportunities, that's it, right? Let's not focus on them so much. The reality is, let's focus on what I did wrong, right? And that is, um, going long, or right here after I missed this move, saying, "Hey, you know what? Oh, okay, yeah, I missed this move. This is probably a bull flag. It's probably going to go higher." And I figured I knew where the market was going. Now, when it didn't end up being a bull flag, instead of taking my loss that I was like, predefined before I entered this trade right here, I was like, okay, my long is going to be right here, or my predefined loss, right? My stop loss is going to be right here, in case it retests this and then bounce, just below the retest is where my loss is going to be. I enter with 50% of my capital, which means as this is going down, my loss is very, very small. However, you know, as I was getting new information on Bitcoin here, I realized that, hey, I slowly, objectively, the objective part of me was saying, hey, we're in a downtrend right now, lower highs, and, it's a descending triangle as, this one line is barely, acting as support. Um, yeah, so there we go there. And yeah, I ended up going long. Instead of taking a loss that so then as I realized Bitcoin was doing that, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a loss if we break here. We break down here, and I didn't take my loss. And we broke up here, and I'm like, I still didn't take my loss. On the way down here, you can tell I was slightly focusing on bullish price action only because I decided to add to my position right here to the point where I was way in over my head now, and I'm in a way too big a position that if this is going to go against me, it's going to turn into a big loss, right? Not only that, I didn't notice that obviously right here we're retesting what was here, and we're getting rejected. So yeah, at the same time on Bitcoin, we kept making we kept making a downtrend, and we wicked up here, right? I think this wick lines up with yeah, that wick lines up with what happened on XTZ right here, but then we got rejected and we started going down, of course. Um, so then on the way down, I literally added to my position as this was tanking, right? I'm like, you know what? I still think it's gonna go upwards, and eventually, we came down to right here, and I'm like, okay, it's time to take my loss, and I did not end up taking my loss until right here, this confluence zone of right, and yeah, so what could have been a $10 loss if I stuck to my original, position. And you know what? I even created multiple stop losses for myself that when I saw these two bearish signs, right? These two specifically, I think I said you know, around here, I like my actions, I was going against what psychologically I knew was the best for me. I was kind of unreal and insane, but I don't know how to explain it, but like I was thinking, look at all these bearish signs. I should get out of this trade, but I did the complete opposite. Instead of taking a loss, I added to my position, which is just crazy, now looking back and getting out. But let's read what we have here. So reasons I took this trade, resistance was established at the blue circle. Bitcoin was looking like it was about to go up, right? If we zoom out here on Bitcoin, we're retesting the what was previously, resistance here and resistance here. So this was yesterday, this was a couple of days ago, and now we're retesting resistance again, and we're getting rejected. So right, so that I figured Bitcoin was gonna break up out of this resistance, and if if I could go long on XTZ here at at a good time, yeah, it would be pretty good. One thing I should need to work on, I just need to remind, so just gonna add here, work on zooming out and looking at higher time frames. Work on zooming out and looking at higher time frames. Because on the 15 minute, just taking a quick glance at what happened on the 15 minute, that obviously does not look good. So, I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't, but yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that doesn't look the best. So I took the opportunity to long the top here. So the blue line after missing the opportunity, I did it with after missing this opportunity. I did it for 50% of my trading capital. I figured it was making a bull flag. With it, you know, with it being in a downtrend, I then added to my position despite Bitcoin, clearly showing bearish signs and about to tank. Not only this, but before Bitcoin did this, I clearly saw the signs, right? Like I clearly saw like before, so before Bitcoin tanked, I clearly saw the signs of it being about to. I remember thinking to myself here, if I was a long right here, right? If I'm, herd mentality, if I longed anywhere up here and Yeah, if I logged anywhere up here, what would it take for me to get out of my position? And I told myself, I'm like, if I was long anywhere up here, breaking this obvious support resistance flip would would make me panic sell and close. And you know, what do you know? Hey, we did end up dropping significantly, and not only that, many alts, you know, just dropped significantly here. Um, Yeah, and as well as like if I'm logging in alt and I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? Because and I'm looking at Bitcoin and I see, you know, it doing this, you know, right? Not only that, you know, if you're long XTZ, right? Who's long XTZ? Breaking this, you know, I would see, I could already see the panic selling starting, and now it's kind of obvious, but you know, shorts are taking profit. I even noticed somebody in the order book, it might have been a bot, but somebody, you know, spamming a bunch of 230 orders here. They got out at a small loss, like around here, and then they flipped their position and they were selling a bunch of 230 XTZ coins constantly until it, you know, and then it broke down. So yet another bearish sign, right? Like it's obvious, like a big whale. You can see his position. You know, the first time you could have been said, okay, anybody who's long is probably, or anybody who sold maybe is probably closing their position, but no, it's clear that the guy went long, then he sold at a small loss, then he flipped his position to go short, and then took profit here. Um, which I wish I did that, but it's obvious I didn't. And then so instead of closing my position, I kept adding more despite the trend going counter to my position, right? This is obviously going down, and I keep adding more on the way down. And instead of closing my position, yeah, so eventually the loss was too much to handle, especially right here, $50 loss, and I closed. Um, yeah, so definitely some lessons to learn here. You know, stick to what, you know, objectively you're thinking. And let me just take a screenshot of what's going on here so I can have this as a reference in the future, right? Um, to look back on. Yeah, sure. All right, and then let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So again, you know, the reasons why this is pretty big, but yeah, this is oh gosh, where would it be a good place for this here? Yeah, that'd be fine. And then let's take a screenshot. Not only that, let's take a screenshot here in case those don't turn out to be really good. And then let's take just another screenshot of XTZ like this. Right. So let's just quickly talk about Bitcoin here. I might have already done this, but it doesn't. No, I started recording this video like halfway through. So Bitcoin is where the real psychological hindrances really are coming into play. Yeah. So objectively, I see that this is clearly a descending triangle on support. You know, on a support line. And when it broke down at the first blue circle here, I still held and I didn't take a loss. And at this exact moment is where psychologically I failed to to be objective and, you know, end a story, right? Next came yet another extremely bearish sign, right? When we wicked, but the wick ended up making yet another lower low, right? And right here I can, yeah, I see this is definitely a make again. You know, are we gonna make a lower? Or sorry, not a lower lower, lower high, lower high, lower high? Are we gonna make yet another lower high here or break out of this downtrend? Um, Yeah, so it seems like I am not trusting myself to take these stop losses, which, you know, not good. Um, Next came yet another bear sign, and this confirms the first, right? That we're about to break down because, you know, lower high. Um, combined with it overall. So not only is this a bear sign breaking down, but this just in general is a bear sign, you know, descending triangle. Um, and I should have closed. Part of me was thinking a $20 loss is so much, right? How am I going to take a $20 loss? So I'm paying too much attention to the monetary value, as well as I have a fear of losing money until it becomes intolerable to like just stay in the position. It's very, very clear. It looks like we are breaking up now, though, so that's cool. I'm glad to see that. My average position ended up being up here, though, so even if we break up, it's gonna be a while before we get up there. Regardless, though, I shouldn't be. You shouldn't be looking at that like you're like. You shouldn't have these should have, would have. You know what if would have happened if I did this and did that and I held and you know all that stuff. Um, Not only this, ideally I would have flipped short. You know, that's ideally though, you know, I would have been perfectly happy though with just taking the small loss and then, you know, waiting out this for a better entry around here. Unfortunately though, that didn't happen. So we have a lot of things to learn though still. Just to add on, this new mindset I have in terms of thinking of traders and how they react, including panic, at which points they're going to do so, as well as thinking of candles of terms of buyers and sellers really useful. Yeah, so this like you know I really like thinking of the market like this because it allows me to be pretty more objective than alternatively to where you're looking at candlesticks and you're like okay that's bearish that bearish and what that'll do is you'll focus on every single candle that either supports your trade or if you're scared of losing you know is going against your trade, right? You're gonna focus on every single like candle that is going against you if you're scared, and you know, like I said, that every single candle that's in your favor and in opposite trend. So at this point, you know, it's kind of clear that objectively, I feel like I can see what's going on in the market, but I just have a psychological barrier to like trust myself to take these losses. Regardless, though, clearly the trend was going in my open position of an XTZ long. And that, of course, that XTZ long relies on Bitcoin going up and breaking out of this resistance, this high time frame resistance, established here, here, and there. Um, and BTC was clearly about to go down, yet I didn't close my XTZ short until it turned into a really bad loss. One more thing, I keep getting impatient and start taking trades instead of waiting for an ideal opportunity to show up. This happened yesterday with an ETH long. The opportunity passed me by, or I missed it. Then I take the trade after the move is done, thinking I know where the market is going, when in reality it can go anywhere. In this case, it was long at the top after missing an opportunity of buying at or before the breakout. So, to give you a reference of what I'm talking about here on Ethereum, I saw Ethereum, yeah, okay, yeah, here we go. Ethereum was making an ascending triangle. Actually, it was about to break resistance here, in my opinion, right? A long established resistance all the way from, um, yeah, right there, right? And what ended up happening is I went long, you know, instead of going long at the breakout here, or, you know, right around here, I went long like, like right here. Yeah, like right at the top. So it's right there, right? What this does is now I just long the top for the next 5 hours, right? I longed at the very top for the next 5 hours, and that's because I missed the opportunity, right? I obviously missed this opportunity of what could have been, you know, depending on where it was, you know, a 1% gain, but no. And I would have held through these retests, but no, you know, I went long here, and eventually I got stopped out for break even, and I took a revenge trade on ETC at the top here as well, right? Literally at like the somewhere up here. I don't really remember, but yeah, definitely learn from your losses. I'm gonna be going over this probably in the next couple of days. You know what exactly happened, why did it happen? Um, Learn as much as I can before I enter another trade. So yeah, thank you for watching. Um, and losses do happen, and it's important to recognize, you're not your losses. Your losses don't define you. Um, and losses are great because you can learn as much as you can. You can learn a lot of wisdom from them, right? Looks like this is yet another. Oh my gosh, yet another. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Technically a lower high, but it is coming close. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you did, I hope you enjoyed me looking at over a loss. And the next video are probably going to be around the same thing, right? Going over a link loss from a couple months ago. And yeah, thank you.